last presentation before lunch, so I appreciate you hanging on. If anyone needs to get up, stretch, please feel free to do so. I am going to talk to everyone today about climbing the peer career ladder. So, how many are peers? Peer recovery specialists, peer coaches? How many of you are certified? Great, okay. So we've done a lot of work in this field, and we've done a lot of work to get to where we are and to become certified. And so I want to talk to everyone today about a couple of ways that we can continue to grow in the field. Full disclosure, I was practicing in my bathroom this morning in the mirror, and my notes are staring at my bathroom mirror. So we're just going to have a conversation today, okay? We're going to do our best. All right, so a little bit about me. As Ms. Irby introduced me, my name is Stephanie Strianse. I have been interested in psychology pretty much my entire life. The second that I was able to take a psychology elective in high school, I opted to do so. Studied psychology in college, studied psychology in grad school, and then sort of stumbled into case management and a little bit of social work, and loved it. I work in DC, I work with individuals experiencing homelessness, and as a case manager, I was out in the field, I was meeting with clients every single day, and I really found my purpose in that work. What happens sometimes when you are excelling in a position, you get promoted, right? That's great. So now I am with the same organization. It is 11, 12 years later, and I serve as their director of operations. And so that's something that I struggle with. Now, back in 2018, a friend of mine said, hey, my friend has this company called Jordan Peer Recovery, and she's hiring trainers. And I was like, well, what's a peer? I hadn't even heard of peer recovery in 2018. But I was like, I like training, so I'm going to apply. Did some trainings, 2018, 2019, some right here at Bowie State University. Fast forward 6 years, I serve as the Chief Operating Officer with Jordan Peer Recovery. So, I say that to say that growth looks different for everyone. I want everyone to grow in this field. I want the entire field to grow. Sorry, you good? I want the entire field to grow. And so I want to share some ways that you're able to grow. If that is becoming a director, becoming a supervisor, that's wonderful. But that's not the only way that you can grow in this field. And so I want to share some of the things that I've learned and hopefully share some things that you don't already know, and I want to learn from you. So over the next day and a half, please come up, talk to me. I'll be at the table, I'll be running around. And I want to hear about what you do in the peer space. So today, I'm going to provide some strategies and insights on how to advance in the peer support field. We're going to talk about apprenticeship programs. We're going to talk about supervisory roles. Then we're going to get into some self-care, work-life balance, burnout, all these things that we've talked about a million times, but we don't put into practice. We're going to do that today. Okay. All right, so at a broad view, these are 7 ways of how to grow in your career. 1, I encourage everyone to find their purpose. If this field is not something that makes you feel great, it might not be the right field for you. That's okay. But if it is, for 40 years, I want you to learn how to find more purpose in what you're doing and grow professionally. Whether it's in the organization that you're with now, starting your own business, or with another organization. You want to develop your skills. You always want to be learning. You guys are doing it right now. You signed up for this conference. You're spending the next day and a half here. I'm sure the CEUs have something to do with it, but you want to develop your skills, and that's amazing. That's step 1. We want to continue to do that. Always look for opportunities. Jamela and Tania put some great opportunities up on the screen that are free trainings, that are CEU granting. And I know that individuals in this room are going to take advantage of it. But that's how we can continue to grow our skills. You want to learn how to sell yourself. How many people have gone on an interview? Do you think you crushed it? You think you nailed it? Were you nervous? Did you leave the building or hang up that Zoom and say, oh, I meant to say all this stuff and I didn't say it? You need to learn how to sell yourself. I have done, countless interviews. And I try to look past the nerves. I try to see people for their strengths and their personality. And I can usually tell when someone's nervous or when someone just isn't really right for the position. So what I want you to do is sell yourself. How many people in an interview have been asked the question, tell me about yourself, tell me about your background, right? That's probably the first question that a lot of interviewers ask. They don't want to hear, hi, I'm Stephanie, I live in DC, I'm a middle child, I love dogs, and I'm a Scorpio. It's all true, but they don't want to hear that. It's almost a trick because it sounds like it's a personal question, but it's not. They want you to answer that question professionally. So you want to start with your present. You want to start with what you're doing right now. You want to shift back to your past, talk about all of the things that you've done, and then you want to finish with your future. And ideally, they want to hear your future with that company, right? But it's got to be professionally based. Sell yourself, sell your skills. Set clear goals for yourself. If we don't have clear goals for ourselves, we are going to get lost. You get pushed and pulled in different directions. At the end of the day, when you go home, you have to know that you have set clear goals for yourself and you're maintaining those goals. Don't be afraid of feedback. Performance evaluations are tough. Constructive criticism is tough. Not everyone takes it well, but the more that you take it and sit with it and do something about it, the greater you will get with your skills. Become an expert. Become an expert in something. If you are a peer recovery specialist and you love working with families, you love working with children, you have a passion for working with justice-impacted individuals, read everything you can read. Talk to everyone you can talk to. Watch YouTube videos, read articles, become an expert. And then challenge yourself. We don't go anywhere without challenging ourselves. All right, we're going to talk through some growth strategies. So, credentials are not everything. That's kind of the basis of this peer thing, right? Experience is key, but credentials help. Right? Credentials show an employer that you have mastered a skill, that a state board or a national board says, hey, this person knows what they're talking about. They've passed an exam, and it kind of standardizes the services. So credentials do have a place in growth. I listed some on the screen because we're here at Bowie State University and in Maryland. I focused on MAB-PCB, which is the Maryland State Board for Peers. How many people are certified under MAB-PCB? Okay, so most of you. All right. MAB-PCB has some specialty certifications. They have a family specialty. They have what they call a forensic specialty for working with reentry. They have a certified co-occurring disorders professional, and they have a certified criminal justice professional. Now you can go on their website. Some require a bachelor's, some don't. All of them require additional training, but these are things that you can do. If you work in the field and you work with families, check out that certification. It's one more thing that you can add. One more, more letters that you can put behind your name on your resume. National certifications. If you're certified in Maryland, you can also get a national certification. NADAC is the Association for Addiction Professionals. They certify peers on a national level. So I can go into Maryland, Virginia, DC, California, Texas, wherever I want to go, Puerto Rico, and I can practice if I have a NADAC certification. Take a look at that. There's also an organization called the National Federation of Families. If you are really passionate about working with family members for those in recovery, this is a certification that you should look at. Take a look at their website. They give additional information on training, and you can have a national certification as a peer working with families. Okay? All right, just like I said, becoming a supervisor is not for everyone. Individuals that want to stay in direct service, you don't have to become a supervisor to grow in your field, but some people want to. And so there are options for peers. Peer supervisors are very short in Maryland. There are not enough peer supervisors in Maryland. So if you are interested in this, Maryland has a registered peer supervisor credential. I encourage you to go to their website and look at that. We need to understand how to supervise peers, okay? So, transitioning to leadership, some skills that you need: communication, leadership, empathy, problem solving. How many people have an amazing supervisor that they love and they would go to work every day for? Yes, Jamela? How many people are like, they're all right? Everyone loves their supervisors? That's amazing. That's great. What we find with supervisors a lot of the time is, let's say you're out in the field, you're a peer recovery specialist at a community-based organization. You're doing a great job. Your director, your manager comes up to you and says, hey, there's an open position in management. I want you to go after it. So you do, and you become a supervisor. What happens is directors, higher-ups, they think, well, this person was a great peer, so they're just automatically going to be a great supervisor. And that's not always the case. Just like you sat in training on day one when you got hired as a peer, you should be sitting in training day one as a supervisor. It doesn't just come naturally. There are skills that you have to learn. Problem solving, communication, leadership is a skill. You need to understand how you communicate. And so that's something that a peer supervisor training goes into and teaches you, but it's also something that you should get at your organization. Roles and responsibilities of a supervisor: they oversee peer support staff. They, of course, ensure that the staff is adhering to best practices, and they provide mentorship and support. Being a leader, being a supervisor is really tough. You have to have just the right combination of administrative, then of educational, and then a little authoritarian. You have to have that right balance, and that right balance isn't 33%. It's different for everybody. And so I'm thrilled to see that everybody has an amazing supervisor that they love. Either it comes naturally or they got great training. But I encourage those that are interested in taking this path to check out some of the peer supervisor opportunities that not only the Maryland Board has, but also your organization. All right, so other ways to advance in the field. Supervisor isn't the only way to advance in the field. Continuing education is so important. You guys know that. You're here today. We always have to be learning. So always look for available courses. Look for additional certifications. Look for workshops. JPR has a membership model. You have to have 20 CEUs every 2 years to maintain your certification. Please maintain your certification, otherwise you gotta take that exam again. Please maintain it. 20 CEUs every 2 years. I get so many emails from people at that last month saying, hey, do you know how I can get some CEUs? We can't let that slide. JPR's membership model drips content to you. It drips you a webinar every single month. You watch an hour webinar every single month, you get 1 CEU every single month, you've got 24 CEUs for those 2 years. You're sitting in this room today, you're gonna get 8 CEUs. Make sure that you're looking at where CEUs can be found. Networking, network today. Take advantage of the exhibitors that are here, take advantage of the other peers that are here. Go and introduce yourself. You never know who you might meet or what might come out of that meeting. Mentorship, benefits of having a mentor and then also being a mentor to others. And then be creative. Share your ideas at your organization. If you're a peer, but you're interested in photography, see if that's an option. That's growth too. That's growth within the organization, that's professional development. If you are working in an organization and you're working with families, but they don't have any programs for the children, Maybe suggest some programs for children. Start with a drive. Maybe you sponsor someone for prom, or you do a back-to-school event. Start thinking of creative ways that you can advance in your field. It doesn't always have to be as a supervisor. All right, registered apprenticeship programs are one way to advance. If you are working as a peer, but you're not yet certified, and that happens a lot, you can work as a peer without having an official certification. So if that is you and you're interested in getting certified, registered apprenticeship programs are a great way to do that. Just like in 2018, I didn't know what a peer was. A couple years ago, I didn't know what a registered apprenticeship program was. Registered apprenticeship programs are expanding rapidly through the US Department of Labor and trickling down into every US state. Maryland has a great program, and some of you are actually in that program right now. We have 106 individuals in our program right now. Some of you are here today, some of you are going to be graduating tomorrow. So we're really excited to see that. Yeah. Yeah. So registered apprenticeship programs, the short of it is you earn while you learn, right? You train while you're in full-time employment. What was happening and what US Department of Labor saw, and not just in the peer space or in the behavioral health space, but in a lot of spaces, is people were paying for trainings. They wanted to learn. They wanted to expand their skill set. So they would go to these trainings, pay for these trainings, and then what happened? They couldn't find work, they couldn't land a job, and then nothing. So with registered apprenticeship programs, day one, you have full-time employment, and you're starting training. It's combined. And it's also supportive. You have support from employer partners where you're hired. You have support from the sponsor organization, which in our case is Jordan Peer Recovery. You have support from your training provider. And so you have this safe space to be able to train and work at the same time. 90% of apprentices stay with their organizations past that year. It's a year-long program. You're a full-time employee of that organization, but you get to go through training. You get to go through core training, you get to become certified, and then you get specialty training. You get to learn how to work with families, learn how to work with justice-impacted individuals, learn how to work in hospital systems, learn how to write successful recovery plans, and you get to do all of that while receiving a paycheck in a field that you really enjoy. Okay? So if anyone is interested in this, or if we have any employer partner organizations that are interested in joining this, please come see me, or you can come see Natasha in the green sweater at our table.